All right, so this is Stormwater Task Force meeting on Thursday, April 18th. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably expected by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. The following information is provided in the agenda to participate remotely by Zoom. And I'm not gonna read the information because by the time people see the recording, it won't be useful. This meeting is held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend in person. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. And the recording should be available on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. So we have 3 people, we have a quorum. Is there any public comment? The only public we have online is Jenny's husband, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't like us talking about him.
Wait,
Oh, I hear somebody.
I hear, it's Tim.
My apologies.
That's
Hello,
okay.
Jenny.
Hi.
How are you?
We started, we're recording. I read the preamble,
Yeah, absolutely.
so
I'm glad you guys
there
did.
you go.
Thank you.
Good timing.
All right, so we've been called to order. First thing on here, we have public comment. Do we have any members of the public online or? No, okay. Announcements, we don't seem to have any announcements. Now, post or continued on from last week, appointment of vice chair.
Which really would have come in handy
It
today.
certainly would have come in handy today.
We were drawing straws.
So does anybody have any nominations or volunteer? Moved by the spirit of volunteering? Yeah, that's. fine.
Anybody wanna
I understand
You wanna volunteer?
You're looking at me.
that.
I'll
I mean,
volunteer.
look,
If nobody will volunteer, I'll volunteer, but
they did postpone this from last week when you weren't here, so.
I'll
I'll have
volunteer.
everyone.
Meeting.
That's fine.
Yeah, mostly it'll just be to cover when I do something like this.
Or when I do something.
Yeah,
Am I the best person for that? I almost missed the meeting last week.
they've allowed me to set and make the agendas, and so far that's working out.
Yeah.
So
The only
you'll do
reason is the last chair left, who you replaced on Conservation Commission.
Oh,
So he
okay.
left town and left, and
Yeah.
it was, this
Oh, and he was the
committee
chair of
didn't meet,
Stormwater?
yeah, and there was no vice chair, no one picked, there was
Okay.
no meeting for months, so.
Okay, that's where
In
that's
case
why
Tim
there
leaves
was that
town, not
big
that
gap.
Tim's leaving town.
Yeah, no, not for more than a week at a time.
So I nominate Jenny for vice chair.
Okay,
I second that motion.
all right, moved and seconded. All in favor of Jenny as vice chair? I guess that's.
Aye.
I'm dying to see what you vote.
Do I have to vote on that?
Oh, I don't know.
I think technically you do,
Aye.
but.
You have to accept,
it
yeah,
doesn't
you have
matter.
to accept the
Hold
nomination.
on.
If you don't want to, you can say no. If you don't want to do it, I'll do it. It's
I'll do it, that's
fine.
fine.
Okay, good.
One more thing. I think you have a lot going on, so.
I mean, mostly at the moment, this seems to run pretty
Yeah.
smoothly, so you don't have, you know. You should be all right. All right, appointment of vice chair, great. Outreach outline, John, you sent us the email with, your basic outline.
I did.
I really liked that.
Cool.
Um,
And Bill forwarded it to Nick.
yes,
CDI, and it came back with a nice set of comments, so I took it seriously, which was very nice. So I took all of his comments and I incorporated and I created a new outline. And Ashley spent 3.5 hours today.
Oh, my God.
See if anybody likes it. It's just a little embarrassing. And I took and I translated it into the start of the PowerPoint presentation.
oh, wonderful.
Wow.
So when would this go in front of the town just to begin education? Because Nick said do this a year in advance.
Sure. I
We're
mean,
already inside of a year.
yeah, at this point, I figure,
Well, almost.
are we going for, 2025's spring meeting and vote or the fall?
Whenever, well, actually, the earlier. the
I think-
better. According to Nick, the earlier the better.
To actually vote on it.
Oh, when would we vote on it? Like next year?
I was the annual town meeting 2025, 2025, so a year
Yeah.
from now, basically.
Yeah, a year from now.
That, okay.
Cause
Doesn't make
I
sense.
don't, do we have enough time
Hmm,
to educate between now and November? I don't know.
yeah,
This
I
isn't the
wonder-
right time to go asking.
Yeah, no, trying
So it
to,
doesn't get voted on until 2025. We start the information campaign
Mhm.
now.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then we get a
absolutely.
whole year
yeah.
to get it out there and
Yeah.
get people like,
Is that a good thing? Or do you think that's too long?
no, according to Nick.
Okay.
yeah, he
What's his
said,
name, Christopher? He says if you don't do it a year in advance, don't expect it to pass.
We
Right,
could do something at the special town meeting in the fall, in November, not for a vote, just as part of the education, like an update or something.
like a handout.
oh, sure, yeah, that'd
A
be good.
presentation, have Nick maybe
Yeah.
come and present actually, if he'd be,
Okay,
That would be, yeah,
cause like municipal building plan was gonna give an update last November, but then we started running too late,
okay,
but we can get on the agenda for,
okay.
This also seems like something that might be worth, seeing if we can piggyback, just in front, in terms of like education, if we've got any, you know what, I don't know what master plan committee, like, public meetings that are after this next one. I'll look into that first.
the master plan. Yeah, there's a survey coming again. right?
Yeah, we've got, another meeting happening next month, I think. And then I don't know what we're supposed to do after that, actually, so I'll
Oh.
investigate that before I say anything
Not,
else.
not that special town meeting gets a big crowd, so it's not gonna have a lot of
So
exposure.
this is the special town meeting you're talking about?
November,
November.
yeah, for an update,
Yes, but the people we're gonna get at the special town meeting
or the people who
are,
vote.
yeah. So like, if we can start our education campaign, like, focused in on the people who are gonna give it life or whatever.
We could also start putting things maybe on the town, like Facebook page and town website, or talk to Kara,
Yeah.
right, who does a town
Mhm.
website. And social media. I'm just wondering, should we go before like Conservation Commission or anything like that? To update them, is that worth?
I mean,
Is there anything that we're proposing?
Update
the
that
select
require
board,
conservation
anything?
permission?
I can also update conservation at the end
Yeah.
of the meeting when I
Yeah,
give them updates on stormwater.
do we need any kind of presentation, even like FinCom,
yeah, do we wanna
at
start
some point?
with maybe select board, right? Maybe hit some of the other boards, yeah, FinCom.
I mean, the more we can talk to, that we can kind of connect with, the better off we're gonna be, so. Yeah,
Cause the FinCom will slow down now. Budget
Right.
season's over.
Right, select board gets the most views, right, on YouTube. So we do a presentation there. That'll start to get the word out.
Mm-hmm. Is that something you'd want Nick to come in to do, or?
Well, it depends on our presentation, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just me brainstorming,
Yeah.
okay, so I don't wanna, like. Now, this is sort of like, I'll use sort of like the fearless, the person that
Mhm.
really is responsible for this. But me as a citizen, this is what I would like to see in the presentation. This is the information that I would like to see. This is something that would compel me or convince me that this is something worth doing. Cause it's, you see dollar figures, they're basically, we're asking people for money, right?
Mhm.
And you're basically making the story that if you give us money, we will do something productive with it. And if you don't give us money, don't expect anything to improve from a stormwater perspective. And there's like fear factor in here, like other people are doing it.
Yep.
And this is like not just us doing it, but it's like a whole network of, it's at the state level, it's at the national level, and it's sort of been flowed down from the national level to our level. So it's a system, but it's huge, and people just take it for granted, they just don't realize it's out there. So all that kind of information is kind of here in I like to think in an orderly manner. So whether someone takes this and runs with it, or you want me to kind of keep doing it, or whether you want Nick to want something independently, is completely your discussion. So what do you want?
Should we do it like piecemeal? Give people little bites at a time
That's
instead
what I'm
of
thinking.
one, yeah,
Yeah,
instead of one, here's our comprehensive complete.
right.
What's our appetizer piece then? Like, what's our lead in?
This, in my opinion, this is a good appetizer. It's only
Okay.
like 8 charts long. So do you want to go over it?
Yeah, let's take a
Yeah.
look.
Alright. Fine. I tried to do it.
Oh, there are multiple I thought I thought this was. And I'm like,
I tried very hard to print on both sides, so there would be not that many,
Thank you.
but it didn't work. I don't know why.
thanks.
What? I got lucky guessing that there are gonna be 5 people at the meeting here tonight.
I don't think we're ever gonna have. That's the other thing, we need to,
I gotta try to track it down.
I don't even know what the process would be to get
So,
Is
so your
there
presentation
another
another
person?
person, yeah.
was good.
Let me see.
The next presentation was good.
Mhm.
I like what I did. So I don't know how to, pull together something. But anyway, so this is, the first chart is like an agenda. So an introduction. Why do we need it? What have other towns done? So what are you talking about for money? Okay, how are we gonna get the money? And what residents can do to kind of complement what's going on and informational resources. So not everything here is. And the second chart was the introduction chart, and I was proposing your charter statement would go there. And I lost the presentation, you had the charter statement in it. I poked around for it on the website, I couldn't find it.
I sent it in the email.
Again today, yeah,
Really?
yeah, just what he said this afternoon, right?
Yeah,
All right, I'll put there. Stormwater is considered an unfunded utility. So I got this from a reference that Nick had in his presentation. And it's, you can actually type it in and you get to this pathways for financing stormwater work in Massachusetts municipalities by the Shore shipment. So she's a PhD level, so I'm assuming she wants to get referenced if anybody quotes her work. So stormwater is considered an unfunded utility. That came out of her presentation, why utility? And she also said many communities in Massachusetts have established stormwater enterprise funds. And from what I can tell, enterprise fund and utility means the same thing.
Yeah.
To cover the annual expenditures that come with fulfilling requirements of the MS4 permit. So there's the MS4 interjected there, and people are gonna not know what the heck it is, so I have a chart that talks about that.
Okay.
And since 2016, MS4 permitting has gone into effect in a number of towns that have stormwater enterprise funds. The takeaway is a stormwater utility will ensure stormwater funding is available to provide the town's needs. That's what purpose it serves. The need for stormwater. So basically, this is what you currently do with the money that's allocated to you in your budget. Supporting ongoing MS4 work, and again, what the heck is that? Best management practices demonstration project at the middle high school, and that's gonna happen really soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you actually broken ground on it at the school?
I'm actually gonna present at the school committee meeting in May, the first one in May.
Okay.
First, second.
Are you waiting until the school gets out? Obviously.
Yeah,
Kind of makes
Yeah.
sense. Projected completion date June 2024. Maintenance such as clean out of catch basins, plunge pools and other sedimentary structures. And sweeping the streets. And that's stuff that everybody's familiar with, except for maybe the MS4 and the BMP thing.
Mhm.
And this next bullet is basically stuff that I think is really the whole purpose for the stormwater utility is to start funding you to do things that have a much broader scope. Not just the routine stuff like sweeping the
Mhm.
streets, but those residents that are coming in here and saying, I've got flooding on my street, it's really nasty. And it'd be nice if the town could address it. So there's Flat Hill, Page Street residential neighborhood flooding. Is that right to conclude Flat Hill and Page Street in the same?
I think so.
Mhm.
West Townsend residential neighborhood flooding, New Townsend residential neighborhood flooding. Address dynamic flooding and erosion issues on a non-emergency basis, so people call in and say, I got a problem. And then prepare for the new MS4 work under an upcoming permit. And the last but not least is emergency response to flooding and erosion events, or rainy day fund, as Nick called it. And like that September storm is probably the best example I can think of, where we've got 5 inches of rain in like an hour.
Right.
That's insane. So people should have that fresh in their memory, this wasn't that long ago. And take away stormwater control is a critical town responsibility. So hopefully people understand that. The need for stormwater management, what is MS4 permitting? And this is sort of one that makes sense to me, because stormwater management is something we take for granted. And it really is a gargantuan network that every city and town, pretty more or less, every city and town in the country has to concern themselves with. And this is basically designed to say this is at the federal level, where there's agencies and departments and people that are hired. They're dedicated to managing stormwater systems in the country. And they want to make sure that what gets pushed into the stormwater system doesn't pollute our lakes, doesn't pollute our streams, doesn't pollute our rivers, and it doesn't pollute our water wetlands. So the MS4 permitting is an environmental protection agency mandated national pollution discharge elimination system, a lot of acronyms, permit process that outlines the requirements for operators of municipal separate storm sewer systems. And there's the MS4. Municipal separate storm sewer systems. And everybody who's got a town or city has one. An MS4 is a system owned by the state, city, town, or village, or other public entity that discharges waters to the US. It's designed or used to collect or convey stormwater, drains, storm drains, pipes, and ditches. And it's not combined sewer and not part of a sewage treatment plant. So I got this from, I think, something that Adam Burney had published and put on the Lunenburg site. The 6 minimum controls are required to be implemented by the town: public education and outreach, public participation and involvement. And I have a comment here that identify examples of public outreach and education involvement. So are we doing that?
We are, yep.
So what are the
just-
examples of that?
Last week I put something on the Facebook site. Let's. So yeah, we're required to put stuff, so this greenscape guide, and actually I gotta print it out, put a stack of copies at the town hall and at the library. Haven't done that yet, but it's here on the
Okay, and that's on Facebook.
Lunenburg DPW Facebook site, and I believe it's on the town's
Share
website.
to town, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think it's up
Okay.
there too.
And then there's gonna be the best management practices demonstration project in front of the high middle school.
Right,
Any more?
oh, there it is, yeah, so it's on the town's
Okay,
Facebook site too.
okay. And I know there's,
Yeah, so social media is accepted,
okay.
Yeah.
part of.
In
Okay.
the hard copies, so I gotta get the hard copies out.
Okay.
Okay. So, because I'm sure people are gonna think to themselves, I don't know tech, I've never seen anything, because it's really kind of in a place that a lot of people don't go looking for information. So I don't know how to get it out to everybody's
Mm.
mindset, unless we go to like a town meeting and where you say,
It's-
hey.
Oops.
You could have it posted to the town, the homepage, like, you know, how we get the news, whatever, I forget what it's called, I can't even log
Right.
into it, but.
Yeah, I don't know, if they put it up there, and it's usually in the booklet you get for town meeting, the last page is usually an
Okay.
announcement.
So, town meeting handout.
Yeah.
And the last page has what?
Yeah, see, on there would be good to have one of those, what's
Yeah.
that section called? Announcement, the
latest
news, latest news, yeah.
I don't know if they put it here. It's. I don't see it.
I'm sure Carol would put it on there.
Yeah, she could put it there,
Okay,
you know.
so far all of these are. There are
Online,
places,
A
but
lot of online stuff.
yeah, I don't know how to get it so everybody sees it, you know what I mean? This is still a select, really kind of focused.
I mean, the hard copies at the library in town, I mean, how many people? You know, I don't know,
Yeah,
even when I'm gonna
A
do
few
house
get
to house
picked up.
mailings,
yeah.
that would be,
Expensive,
yeah.
but that would get it out there, just saying.
But it will be in the town warrant, so we'll go to every house then,
Yeah,
Really?
in the warrant booklet.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
So
what
the
we've
last
been doing the
page, yeah.
past.
so it's gonna be on the last page of the warrant booklet. Is,
Yeah.
what's it gonna look like? It's gonna be say, hey, this is upcoming, pay attention to this, because we're,
Oh, no, that announcement, I think probably the same one that I had on the Facebook page, we always put an announcement.
okay.
Can we get the last year's booklet online?
I think so.
How do we get that?
Go to the search, I don't know,
Yeah.
search 2023 warrant.
Yeah.
something, I don't know. They haven't found this search to be all that
No.
friendly.
I am impressed with how much information's on the Lunenburg.gov site, though.
Oh, sure.
It's enormous,
It's not always where I expect it to be,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Mm.
So sometimes I have a hard time finding stuff. Like Bill is right now.
Yeah,
You know what? The easier place to go is. I'll go to the Google Drive and.
oh, did I save it?
Oh, God.
I probably saved it.
we can't find it.
Hmm.
2023. Oh, no, I don't want. I just want my drive, I think there's something in here for town meetings. Town meetings folder, here we go. May 2023. And. Here's the booklet. So again, the last page you said?
I believe so.
There,
There you go.
yeah.
Greenscape Guide.
There we go.
Okay,
So, yeah. We've been doing that.
all right, so we
But
can,
does that cover,
so that's one of the 6 required.
that's not
controls. We can check
stormwater
that out.
related, though.
It is.
It is how, it's telling me what to do
Telling you how to
every month.
Fertilizer, so you're not over fertilizing or putting it down at the wrong time and it's just washing off going into the stormwater system. But you don't want to have somebody put too much down, have the rain come, push it all into the lake, and now you
Yeah,
got algae growing in the lake, right?
yeah, the big thing on Hickory Lake is to minimize the phosphate
Yeah,
in your
Mhm.
fertilizer.
exactly.
Need to get rid of the geese.
What? Oh, yeah, yeah.
That would help.
Okay, so I don't want to get focused on
Mhm.
one thing for extended period of time, but those 2 line items seem important because the more you educate people, the more they realize that this is something they have to think about. And if they have to, especially if they have to cough up some money to support it. Illicit discharge and detection and elimination, that sounds like a pretty scary one. And, so that kind of really sounds like stormwater. Somebody has to think about that and worry about it. And now that we know that stormwater's responsible for that line item. Construction site runoff control, post-construction site runoff control, everybody sees that, right? New construction, you got the straw wattles in place, and pollution prevention, good housekeeping. So that's probably in line with what you had on the back of the warrant. In other words, we are permitted, okay, so the word permit always throws me off. It's like they're issuing a permit for you to do something, and I guess the way Adam Bernie described it is they sort of are. So we are permitted to discharge all of our stormwater into our nation's lakes, rivers, and streams and wetlands only if we meet the control requirements. That's how I interpret that,
Right.
that whole thing. And the takeaway of stormwater management is an extensive program at local, state, and national levels. So it's a thing.
Right.
So it's the message I wanted to.
You might want to add that.
Yep.
There's fines if you're not following
Ooh.
the permit.
Like anything.
Yeah.
So, Bill, what's it, illicit discharge detection and elimination? What are we doing?
Yeah, so CEI goes out and they'll try to find illegal hookups to our system. It's not easy, you know. Sometimes it's easier if a neighbor calls and says, you know, there's a catch basin here that stinks like sewer or something, there's something's off, you know, that's probably how you find something. But CEI has gone out and investigated.
Okay,
Yeah.
only when they get complaints, they
Well,
proactively
no,
go out and check.
We hired them to go out and
Okay.
search, yeah,
Okay.
a few years back.
Okay. The next chart was basically taken from one of Nick's charts.
Yep.
So I think I gave them credit for that.
Mhm.
And it's kind of an engineer's chart, and I'm an engineer, so I kind of like it, but I had to think about it real hard to figure out exactly what it was communicating. So basically, the x-axis is how much the annual residential rate is, and the vertical axis is how much money, so you can see Fall River. And the size of the circle corresponds to how much money that is in their budget, I believe. So you can see all the towns that are out there in Massachusetts that have a utility. And how much money is in their utility, what the average resident pays. You can see with that little leaf on the bottom, what the average residential rate is. I believe it comes out to be like $75 a year. So it'd be nice if we had an updated chart with that information, because I think Nick kind of pulled this from a document that, and this may be from like
Oh.
2019 as opposed to 2021.
The size of the bubble is the population.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Reflects
okay.
population,
Thank
yeah.
you. I'll put a legend on there that basically says all that stuff. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's what the other towns are doing, and they're doing what we want to do. The next chart is proposed budget, and I used numbers that you had quoted last time we met. And you had a proposed budget that you had presented to us. I wanted to put it there, but I couldn't place it. So is that available?
Yeah.
Oh, can you send it to me?
Absolutely.
So proposed budget is based on the current demand, so that accurate statement, basically, this is what you want to do in town, but you can't because you're cash strapped.
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Is this really FY 23?
I was,
Do
yeah, I
you
was
have FY
guessing.
24 numbers?
These are the,
I mean, we haven't
But
closed
there's
out
no-
FY 24
Right.
yet, but.
Well,
yeah, these aren't 100% accurate then.
Okay.
Let me review
Okay, this is
for
just
you.
amongst us.
Yeah.
So-
I'm willing to guess FY 24 is higher.
Okay, so I'll take this and run with it as long as you guys say, please keep going. Otherwise, if you want to take over, if you want to hand it off to Nick, just let me know. You know, I'm not complaining. But it'd be nice to have the budget here and to firm up these numbers. So again, proposed budgets based on current demand.
Sorry, you know what would be good? Maybe, because didn't you say it's going up every year? Your expense for stormwater? The budget line has been trending up, do I
No,
remember
it's
right?
been trending flat.
Well,
His budget's flat. but
it's
his
budget flat,
demand-
but your
I've been asking
expenses,
for more, so in that FY 25, I asked for more.
yeah,
The budget, like the drainage line's been 30,000. I asked for 60,000, that's the number he has here. Has to get voted on, right? And approved.
well, is it, yeah, the recommended budget's already gone out, that's what.
Right, right.
I'm wondering if we look at. To take a bigger picture of over the years. What we've spent on stormwater, what it's cost the town,
Yeah.
and then the next
Yeah.
slide is,
Yeah, we tried that.
we build a
last
budget.
month. Sorry. Yeah, we talked about that last month, but he hasn't had enough purview or history here
yeah,
to know all that information.
Well, for tracking labor,
Yeah.
these are budget line items, I can give you these.
Oh,
but they've been flat. But have you overspent or like have you had to move? Budget
Yeah,
from other line items to cover?
right,
If we have seen, stormwater is becoming more and more of an issue, meaning more and more of an expense for the town to deal with. To have that picture on one slide and the next slide be, this is the budget. That's been proposed to kind of explain, how we arrived at those things.
the more data we have, I think, the more compelling this is. It's not just like, well, we want more money for this.
right.
Yeah, no, you, especially in this time, you gotta show the need for the money, where it's going.
It's not gonna show like huge jumps because I try to stay within budget. which-
Yeah, that's a
which
problem, you're
just
constrained
means-
by a budget.
Yeah, which just means I'm not doing the work.
So how can we capture what's not getting done, what the
Yeah.
needs are? That's a little more
Yeah.
abstract and qualitative.
So.
Mm,
Anyway, I don't know if that's
We did
possible.
identify the wish list, right? So Page or Flat Hill and Page Street, West Townsend, New Townsend, so
Yeah,
people are coming in and they're saying, we got a flooding problem when it rains heavy. and we can't do anything without money.
Right,
Your
So-
capital budget projects. There were even more than that, that fell below the line, that were
Right.
related to drainage and stormwater.
right. Right, we can add those.
Do we have like, from the major storm, the major flooding we had? Do we have like recorded damages or something the town has had to invest in or pay for as a result of the flooding?
The September 11th storm?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have that documented.
okay, cause in theory, like, we can look at that as additional, like, these are the costs that we incurred because we didn't do
Right.
this.
That storm alone was like $75,000.
And that would fall under the rainy day fund emergency response to flooding events.
Yeah.
So that's something that's on the line item, you're right. And you could put that little bullet right there that says what the cost to respond to that was. And you also had a pipe that was plugged up. And
Yeah,
that's
the
what-
beaver.
That's what, yeah. So I think I would use the word dynamic here, someplace like, address dynamic flooding and erosion issues as they, yeah. All right, so, yeah, it's all about data, right?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna read that. If I feel like the storms are getting bigger, right? Whenever we get a storm, it's
Right.
getting, I wonder if there's if I could find like hard data to show that. Like, there's some meteorologist has to have
Yeah.
something somewhere, right?
And we did that when we did the drawdown, Jack Rabbit and I, we had to
Yeah.
present to the shareholders at the Blue Hills. So we have to, if we could go back and dig that data, but maybe there's something that shows the trends.
I bet insurers would have the best, kind of projective records of that. So like, here's the storms, they keep getting bigger, so here's what our projections, you know, continue to be going forward.
Yeah, and if we see that in historical data.
Yeah.
Then it would jive with the trends.
Yeah.
And it would just make sense that going forward, this is a wise thing to do. So should I go to the next one?
Mhm.
So just a comment that the trend of me getting calls, it continues. So,
That's a good thing to track too.
yeah, at least once a week, somebody calls and said, oh, there's flooding coming off the road or whatever. So, I talk to the people and the last thing I tell them is, we're trying to set up utilities, so keep an eye out for that and,
What's their reaction when you say that?
most people are like, oh, this will help me? I said, yeah, it'll help you. Well, I'm gonna vote for it.
I can tell
That's
you
been
right
the
now,
reaction, so.
there's a ton of people that don't know that they can come to the town, or they just don't, there's anything you do, they're fatalistic. And
Yeah.
there's other people that are shy and are afraid to approach the town.
Mhm.
So that's any money, like 89% of the people don't realize that they can come to the town and say, can you fix this one? Just my opinion. All right, so the next chart, funding and administration of the utility. So, add budget figures. So, Nick and you had collaborated, and I think you came up with about $100 per year per resident, and there's estimated 4,000 residents. So that'd be $25 a quarter, which doesn't sound like a lot of money to me. So that shouldn't scare people.
I would hope not.
Yeah. So that would be the residential component piece. Does it scare you?
No, I just wouldn't, for the next 6 months, probably, I wouldn't
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
say anything.
yeah.
Okay,
We'll keep the money part out till next year.
okay.
No, I mean, I think we have to,
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
Wait till after town meeting and town elections.
Okay, so local businesses and nonprofits, so this chart. I don't know, I need the numbers to add up in my head. So Nick had basically proposed businesses and nonprofits. And on the bottom here, it actually breaks down all of our landowners into, residential versus commercial and mixed use residential and multifamily and all that stuff. So, and he was kind of suggesting that the commercial component would cover a significant fraction of what we need to get to the $1 million. But as it stands, $400,000 is $100 short of $1 million. So does, how much burden do you want to impose on our commercial? And how much of the Massachusetts State Chapter 90 funding would be, you would allocate to that? So I think these are the kinds of things that you and Nick have to work out. and figure out how you're gonna get to that $1 million number.
Right, or maybe the million's too high, so
Oh, okay,
So is 1 million to kick it off, or is that
that'd be a yearly.
every year to
Yeah.
maintain? So we need more than that to initially set it up. Is that
I
right?
think
I
initially.
can't remember, I have.
Well,
it
yeah,
somewhere.
if you're doing,
Cause you have to get
truck purchases,
equipment,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah,
well, you had also talked about,
What do you-
spreading out those costs over 5 or 10 years.
right, you
Yeah.
take a loan for the
Yeah,
equipment and then spread it out.
yeah. That makes sense to me. I'd rather see flat than something that goes up every year.
Yeah,
If people don't like to see their property taxes go up, and I'm assuming they don't want to see their stormwater utility go up either. So that's something that I think that it's, you're gonna have to figure out with Nick is how to distribute the money. Cause I remember you come up with 1.1 million. So I rounded it to $1 million
Yeah.
because it sounds like a nice round number.
right,
So that's something I think you're gonna have to own. The next chart was basically how the properties are distributed. I don't know if this is too much information or not, but I guess I'm curious to know how many residential families there are, or properties there are. And there's a residential multifamily and, mixed use residential. I think those all added to about 4,000. Real close to it anyway. So I think the 4,000 number is reasonable. And then you can see that there are a significant number of commercial, which surprised me, there's 103 commercial properties. And industrial and agricultural. So there's like maybe 130, 140, 150 commercial or other that would contribute. So the proposed,
so if you look at the screen, I just got these numbers like this week, yesterday.
Oh, residences, okay.
4147,
Oh, yeah, so that's
40.
all the residential
47
property codes.
Right,
residents. Single, and that's how it's broken out, single family,
Right.
duplex, triplex, apartments and condominiums. Okay. Condominiums get charged the same condominium unit, certain condominiums. Something to think
not
about.
sure.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either. Okay, so I got the impression from the response that you got from Nick that a little bit of thought would have to go into exactly how we would charge the commercial.
Yeah,
Right,
So, yeah. So,
it's like Bad Larry's is very different than Walmart.
yeah,
right,
very much so. Okay, so the takeaway, if you want to sell this, the proposed budget can be realized with minimal impact to residents. And hopefully that $20 per quarter isn't scary. And then I threw in the chart on residential proactive measures. And, so you don't want to put all the weight on the town to fix your drainage problems. Because there's a little bit of responsibility for people to take care of their own, but there's definitely a coordinated thing. So when I did my renovation, I really needed to coordinate with the town to make sure that the runoff from the street didn't enter my property because it would have been a disaster from a drainage perspective on that property. So Bill was really cooperative and he helped me sit landscape everything and so that the drainage is bypassing my property. So I don't know how comfortable people are just thinking, you're approachable, you know what I mean? You should be, it's not like I'm trying to solicit where people call you. I'm just saying.
I hear you're giving Bill more work.
I'm just saying, people shouldn't be afraid to approach you. That's all I'm saying. So best management practices, and this is something I need to elaborate on. I didn't do a lot of research, but I know there's that really big that document that talks about stormwater practices and best management practices, and there's a big section on what residents can do, so that I would probably go to that.
What if part of the outreach that we were doing was helping residents learn about like green stormwater infrastructure that they could do at their homes and to kind of help with the stormwater too?
I think it should be an integral part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we did our renovation, I made sure that the water runs away from the house, not towards it.
Right.
Before we did the renovation, we had a driveway that was sloped uphill. And there was gravel and all the rainwater that came down went to the backside of the house and went down, and went in my basement.
right,
Now we've got gutters, we've got permeable, non-permeable surfaces and all that water. So, you know, people have to think about that.
yeah,
Yeah, we put in drainages, we ran the water out to the street, out to the lake, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the rain garden we're gonna put at the high school, that's part of the
Yeah,
education
so-
piece, right?
yeah, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I have, I mean, if we wanted to do some outreach as part of this, I do have a friend who is like a really well-known green stormwater infrastructure person. He actually just did a talk at the Lindenberg Pollinator Garden or the Stewards of the Community Conservation. I don't know, so many Lunenburg pages, where they just were, promoting, which is, so he just does all types of stuff on green stormwater infrastructure, and he would probably be willing to do some outreach if we wanted him to. His
You
name
know,
Trevor Smith.
The one place I do see is Hickory Hills with the lake management.
Mhm.
They do this kind of stuff and they try to broadcast it to the
Mhm.
community. It's great. What would you call it? Presentations or tutorials or?
Like the talks
Yeah.
that they do, yeah, presentations, I guess.
Yeah. Public
So that's like a big thing that he does, is he goes and he talks to towns. He did like a whole series for Acton. And for Concord too, and he does them in Lexington, so.
The last chart is references, so I need to add more to that, but the Bloomberg website really is pretty nice.
So in terms of taking drainage off the road and directing away from property, like putting it in, directing it to the lake. Is that still, I mean,
I think
part
we-
of stormwater management isn't just directing the flow, but it's also cleaning it up, right?
Right, so we
Right.
wanna be recharging it first before
Yeah.
it gets to the lake.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
using some of those green
Like
stormwater,
rain gardens or
Yeah.
what,
rain gardens, storm recharge
Yeah.
trenches, all types of,
Detention basins.
yeah.
yeah,
It's-
But rain gardens are such a good way for people who have water runoff going through their yards to just get it caught and then cleaned and then back into the,
and
Ground.
slowly back,
it's
yeah.
also recharging our water supply, so there's
Yeah.
if we can start talking to people about that kind of stuff and seeing the value in that, I think that that could also help with our ways to take care of stormwater.
Cause I don't wanna see like hoses and stuff running into a catch basin from, you know what I mean, like.
Well,
a
Which is
sump
not
pump
legal,
running-
really.
Yeah,
The sump
I
pumps and when.
I
they
cleaned
discharge.
it.
So
Yeah.
where do you discharge your pump, your sump pump?
Just
If
somewhere,
you can't run into the street,
You gotta discharge it onto your own property.
your own
Yeah.
property, so in
Right.
theory, you discharge it out to a river.
Right, so that was one of my
Right.
questions in the email that you didn't see, is I get a lot of calls, people saying, I wanna get the water out of my basement.
Yeah.
My house is the low point in my yard, where can I put the water? Can I put it in the basin? Well, we don't have rules for that, so no.
yeah,
Some towns allow it, and some, I started looking into it a little bit,
Yeah.
some towns have really strict rules, makes it almost prohibitive to do it,
yeah, I think a lot of towns make that illegal, just because
yeah.
the infrastructure can't support it. Especially with all of the stormwater that's
And-
happening,
And we don't really know what they're pumping into it, should just be groundwater, but
right?
who knows what else they tie into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my oil
Yeah.
tank is leaking and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can tell my mother-in-law took her water and she put it into the sewer system in the evening. Socially control. Yeah, and she was always
Yeah.
told, get it out of the sewer. So I'm just saying, people do what they can do with the money that they have available.
So there's really two parts. There's the managing the drainage and the flow, the volume, and then treating, cleaning it up.
right. Right, so most of our system, we just manage the flow, we get it off the road. and
Yeah, yeah.
Get it to the low point, we're not cleaning it up, so that'd be projects in the future, right,
Yeah.
to try
So
to slow it
does-
down. and clean it up.
Does CEI talk about any of like the green solutions that I guess they're helping us with the rain garden? So when I went to the Conservation Commission, gathering, I guess, and did some classes on green stormwater infrastructure. And they talked a lot about, just how much more effective it is when we're taking the stormwater and getting it back into the ground rather than just moving it to low places or moving the water, because we just can't do it anymore. We have too many impermeable surfaces, we have too many, there's just nowhere for the water to go anymore. So, is CEI like addressing any of that as far as,
For our current system?
like, for our, like, future projections of how we're dealing with stormwater? It seems like they're kind of helping us with that.
They are, but yeah, we're not at that point yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does Walmart do with their water? So obviously it goes in catch
Bottle it.
basins
Is,
that are catch basins that are on the parking lot, because it's a gargantuan parking lot, so there's
Yeah.
an enormous amount of water. So the water that goes to the drain systems and must go to like a main, and it
Right.
goes to your main, which is in your,
I believe they have stormwater BMPs on the property, right, to slow it down, clean it up and discharge it out.
okay, do they clean it?
Well,
They
clean
try-
it, the stormwater BMPs clean it by slowing it down, right? Let the solids settle out
Okay. So they,
before the water
okay, so they get the solids, out,
continue on.
but they don't send it to like a retention pond. But they-
I'm not 100% sure what their system is. I
Yeah.
haven't seen the plans, but I think there's a retention pond or something. Yeah.
Okay. That'd be nice, just a huge area, if they treated that before they put it into your. Alright, so I don't know, what do you want me to do going forward? You want me to continue with this, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I think we gotta keep fine tuning this.
Okay, and I'll fine tune it if everyone's in agreement. And if Nick wants to look at it and use it as sort of a guideline. For his
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah, we can send it to him, get his comments.
yeah,
Thanks, John.
Yeah, great.
I found your stuff from last month, your budget numbers.
Um. Tangential question, do we have, so the. What do you call it? The residential space, small development, I think it's on Flat Hill Road that has the, their storm pond, stormwater
Flat Hill
retention,
Village,
yeah.
yeah, where it's not being maintained, so that's flooding out into the street. Is there anything that we have or the ability that we can set up to like, I don't know, have a fine or something, be like, hey, you're not maintaining this, it's becoming the town's problem. What can we do to make them fix it?
So in the order of conditions from when they first put the property in, there may be
Yeah.
some stuff about what they have to do to maintain it.
Sure.
So, and if they're not following that, then you could definitely do something.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes beyond that, though.
Who inspects it though? It's on private property.
Right.
That's,
Technically,
Checks to see if
Because the
they're,
order of conditions like follows the property, so I think that because it's part of the order, I don't wanna say Concom does it, but. About who would do that, I have no idea.
that's why I think my question is more to like. Once it becomes town property, once it's in the road, then it's the town's problem.
Right.
And do we have the ability to say, it's coming from here? I don't care how you resolve this problem, but you have to resolve this problem. Be it, they actually do the work and it cuts down the amount, or we issue fines or whatever.
Bill knows a lot about this particular.
Well, but new construction, anything over an acre,
Yeah.
the planning board says you have to put in
Yes.
stormwater BMPs. And part of that is an operation and maintenance manual.
Yeah.
And I believe they have to submit what they've done, right, to the planning board,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, they do.
But Village of Flat Hill, that was before those rules were
Sure.
in place, so.
How long
My
has that been
question
there?
is more just to general, like,
Yeah.
even if it's a place that, it has been a problem for a long time, but nobody's done anything about it. What do we have in place as an enforcement mechanisms in terms of having a stormwater utility or requirements. Yeah, sorry, I asked that question a little bit weird, but I hope you understood where I was
You know
going.
what you mean. I don't think we have too many options, right?
Sure.
I think that's our problem with the village of Flat Hill. Is
Sure.
We're just kind of asking them nicely to, maintain.
How or who introduces something like that? I assume it's probably something that needs to go through the town voting process if it's a large enough change like that. But like, who introduces that?
I believe that's.
I think it's planning board
It'd be
too.
planning
Yeah.
board? Okay, cool. I will get on that then.
So the Village of Flat Hill, is that just a condominium complex or is that like
Yeah.
a residential, broader residential neighborhood?
An HOA.
Okay,
Yeah, HOA.
HOA.
so the
They're not
people,
condos, right? It's really.
Their
big
homes, there might be some multi-units in there, I don't know, but
so
it's
the
a
residents that
private
have come
HOA.
here to complain about their water, are they part of that or?
No,
No.
no, Susan Whalen's on Flat Hill Road across from that development. And Matt Allison is.
These are the
across from
people
it.
who are affected by that development not being maintained.
Like Bill doesn't plow the roads in Village of Flat
Okay,
Hill.
I have a dumb question. So these, the three things on your hit list that have drainage issues. So what was the process? They had to go through a planning board process to get approved and I'm sure that they looked at the drainage plan and it was approved.
Right.
Did something go wrong? I mean, is there something wrong with the process? I mean, or?
Well, the rules are
One would
more
think,
strict now, right?
okay, so a lot of those residential developments happened
this.
before stricter
Yeah.
rules were in place.
Right,
And now we're sort of doing a backfill to make sure that these residences have the drainage that they need.
anything new
That
going
sounds-
forward.
Have the calculations gone, because when they put in new development, they calculate, because you have to reduce, I don't know, some calculation for current runoff and you have to put whatever BMP in place to.
Yeah.
Those calculations have changed to, right, to
Yeah. from
account for
when-
these larger storms. that-
No,
No.
not really. No, we
They
we
need
keep,
to.
because they're based on, like, 100-year storm tables or like the expectations of those. And it's a thing we've been talking about on planning board is
Yeah.
like, it's not enough, like
Right.
hitting the requirements that
Yeah.
have been put there are not sufficient
No,
to actually be useful.
because I think our storms are bigger now.
Yeah.
And more frequent.
Right,
Who's the engineer? Like, that has,
McCarty.
yes,
Yeah, so I think DEP is coming out with new rules in the next year or two. That's what I'm hearing.
but then you do have to maintain and keep up with
Right,
whatever you put in place. So I think there's even more projects we could put on there if you want, but
oh,
are
definitely.
on his
If-
capital plan that
It's
Definitely.
at his discretion.
Mhm.
He's
there were at least a handful
Yeah,
that didn't get funded, right?
right,
Would you like me to send this to you and you can add?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
that'd be good.
numbers and
Mhm.
of the projects that you'd like to see?
absolutely.
Okay, I will send that out to everybody, when I get home tonight.
So are these numbers still correct? Do you think?
That's kind of rough. So. Would need to get fine-tuned a little bit.
Cause it has a million, like 1.1 first year and then about 900,000. After that, taking out the first time purchase of equipment.
So these new residential developments occur, so who pays for that? The contractors that do the groundwork?
Correct.
What's the contractor cost? And they're gonna have to pass that on to.
Who buys the whole,
Yeah,
Mhm.
makes perfect sense. It does. I'm sure they're gonna be disgruntled that their costs are going up, but it's not fair to the people to leave them like,
Right.
build their homes on a swamp either, is it? Yeah.
All right, that's where we're there. The next thing I had here was CI comments, but you already kind of incorporated some of them on the outline that you gave us. Most of it just seemed to be the budgetary items. So unless anybody has anything extra they want to add, I think it was that, and they talked about the BMP, the high school one a little bit.
Yeah, so Nick, I mentioned we're having a meeting today and asked him if he had anything new, and he said no, but he was asking if how much we think we would charge residents, and, you know, you kind of said $100. Is that a good number, or should we look lower or higher, or?
I think
Mhm.
$25 a quarter is sellable, that doesn't seem like a lot to me.
I think that would be the ceiling.
I think that was what, the thing was like 70 to $100.
Yeah.
Gives us a roughly, well, I don't remember what the target was.
Well, it's right there in the.
Yeah.
400K.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah,
It depends on how hard we hit the commercial properties
Yeah,
yeah,
and how do you distinguish a Walmart from, you know, small business?
or like a
Who has
church,
no,
yeah,
yeah,
like Our Lady of Life, for example, they got a parking lot,
yeah.
you know, it feeds into our system.
they're in Livingston,
Oh, there, okay, thank you.
Yeah, but we have St. Boniface that has a
right?
couple of parking lots. And there's also the town buildings have parking
Yeah, I
lots,
think-
the library, the schools.
I think I saw a presentation from
The
the,
library has BMPs, the public safety has BMPs already.
so all the government buildings and properties, those are exempt from this, I believe. Cause I saw that in some
Are they?
presentation, yeah, well, I saw
Schools
that,
too?
I saw that in this Laura Shipman's.
Wow, I mean, if it's the
Yeah.
town's property and it's the
Yeah.
town's utility, then,
Kind of cancel each other out.
yeah. Um,
Does it make sense for the town to have a line item in the budget for taxes?
yeah,
That
actually,
actually-
you're
It's
right.
going to an enterprise fund, so I don't know.
It seems kind of funny to me that collecting taxes.
They pay a water bill.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a question. Does, like, part of that come out of, I think we had this conversation already. Part of what would be going into the enterprise fund would be come out of whatever the line item would normally be for stormwater in the regular budget. I thought I had a follow-up point to that, but I don't remember what it was, so. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
I think the line items in my
Yeah.
regular budget for stormwater would go away.
Just transfer over, yeah.
And you create the enterprise fund,
Yeah,
like water, sewer, well, sewer,
right.
water's not part of the town.
Okay. I think next thing we've got then, meeting minutes. If anybody has any comments or if they haven't had a chance, we have an email, that
Okay.
has the minutes on them.
Yeah, which ones, I read them tonight, but I forget, they were from March?
I read it, but I didn't
Yeah.
read.
It must have been the March ones.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
April now, right? Yeah.
They're very thorough.
Yeah.
They were good. I just had one comment, I bring it up on the screen there in the red. See it, West Townsend Road, New West
Oh.
Town Road, it's Town's End.
Yeah, town end, yeah.
Yeah, so very minor, just add end to town, 2 spots.
Not to be confused with Townsend, too.
Oh, geez, they even spell it wrong, Townsend, right?
Is it Townsend?
Yeah, isn't it?
Okay, those Townsend
Yeah.
Harbor, I know.
Right.
Now it doesn't sound like a word to me because I said it too many times.
See, I spelled it wrong too. But other than that, they look good to me. They does a good job for it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they look good to me.
Yeah,
Whenever everyone's happy, I'll accept the motion.
motion to accept the minutes from last meeting
With the
Second.
changes.
with the changes.
Yeah, second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
I,
Wonderful, meeting minutes are approved. Ongoing business, we know about the high school's BMP project, if we've got new things, we'll put them here, otherwise I think we're just kind of cruising along the same.
Tim,
Yes.
I think you were here. When I said I'm the school superintendent asked me to present that project to the school committee in May.
Oh, in May? Okay.
Their first meeting, May, I don't know what it is.
The first Wednesday, maybe?
Yeah, that's it, May 1st. So,
Okay.
And you're doing the chapter 90 update at select board next week.
yes.
Was there anything in the stuff you sent today? That, wanted to
I
cover?
think we touched on there, right? Yeah, reasonable annual fee we touched on. Yeah, should we allow people to tie into our system? And then I had some notes for John's presentation, which he had a lot of it in there already.
oh, you have the budget costs in here again. The paper I found, you have the budget.
Oh, I
you have the
attached it,
budget,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I had sent that out previously.
Is this the email that you're referring to? That has the attachment with the information on it?
No?
That's all I got from you.
Hmm?
340 today.
Yeah, I didn't get anything from that.
Maybe I sent it to the wrong person.
Oh, check your Comcast email.
I did.
Oh,
there.
your name's on here.
CPL 116.
Yeah, at Comcast.net. Did it go to your spam box?
Those emails go into your.
No.
Yeah.
Bad phone.
Mhm.
Not in spam.
I could try to send it again.
Oh, get out of town. There it is. It's in spam.
No.
Alright,
Some thoughts for our meeting tonight. What is reasonable annual fee?
there you go.
That's not familiar to anybody?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it.
Mhm. Is that $100 including commercial at 100 rate or no?
Well, commercial be higher,
Yeah, so would that 100 go down for residents? I think?
potentially, right? Yeah, so Nick was asking, I told him, yeah, hundreds are absolute ceiling, would like to be lower
Sure.
for residential.
Yeah, cause then you get to the apartment complexes, how do you? Handle that?
I'd have to go to the real estate owner, I would think.
Would they be under a tier? What could be considered?
Yeah,
If they're large enough,
Just-
then we treat them like a commercial building, and then
Yeah.
that price would be divvied between the
Yeah.
renters.
Did I see in an email that you had asked Nick to do like a survey to find out the property sizes of each of those?
yes, for the commercial, and he
Yeah.
says, sounded like he had it done,
Okay,
yeah.
Cause are we thinking this would go out with property tax? Be another line on
A line item
on
in
the
the property
property
tax.
tax bill,
Mhm.
so it'd be quarterly.
Yeah.
So it would go to the owner of the apartment complex.
Yeah.
then.
and it looks like, sounds like it would be based on
And
the
it should be
size of
bigger.
the,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then a single family home.
Right, much bigger. Well, depending on the size.
Yeah, cause it'd be nice. The nonprofits like churches and stuff. Like to ease up on them. I don't know.
What sorry. What are our goals for next meeting? What are we? I'm not sure. What's our next step?
if we have a year, we should start really planning that out.
Yeah, John, you're gonna be doing some fine tuning and working on the presentation. I've got some things to ask of the planning board in terms of developing enforcement mechanisms or for dealing with stormwater situations. I think that's everything that we have like projecting forward for these, unless anybody can think of anything I'm missing. And then otherwise, I think we're just researching and planning for community outreach locations, ideas, et cetera, et cetera.
Maybe if Nick can, once we have, like, the- I don't wanna say final, but the next version of slides, maybe, have Nick review them.
Do you want to have him review this one or wait for another revision?
I mean, we need updates from him anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah, we can send them.
That one graph.
Sure.
And we have electronic copies of his presentation, right?
I have it, it's
So,
attached
yeah.
to the meeting minutes from maybe
Yeah.
February. That's where I found it.
Yeah. There might be stuff in there, and then maybe. I don't know how best to roll it out, where to start,
Look at what
other
other
than
towns
online social
did.
media kind of thing, but that's gotta be like a one slide summary, something
Right,
very high level.
I'm thinking we gotta go to select board, right? Let them know what we're thinking, kind of where we're at,
I mean, I've told them we're thinking about it, but haven't given detail.
right, and a little more
Yeah, I do
detail,
like that idea a lot,
yeah,
getting their blessing.
yeah.
Have Nick give that, or do you wanna give it?
Yeah, I guess we can work this slideshow a little better and I could give it. Just kind of high level to start,
Yeah, I don't wanna get too into the
Yeah.
weeds.
yeah,
They're gonna have all the same questions that I had when I put this together. What's your budget? Where are you gonna get the money?
mhm. Yeah, that's the kind
What's
of
the average?
stuff.
Yeah.
we
Well,
should
that's why I'm
talk
wondering
about.
if we should go to
Yeah.
FinCom.
Start with them.
I don't know who to start with, but I think at some
Yeah.
point we have to go to FinCom too. You don't think we have to go to conservation?
So, the first,
No, but to give some, just to present the whole thing to them at some
we
point.
definitely could, or I could, do it at the time when I talk about stormwater. Which I haven't really said anything yet when it comes to the end and they ask about it, but I could talk about it then.
And planning board too, right?
Yeah.
Right, should be
I guess if
putting it
we're,
out there, maybe start with planning board. Move up to select board or finance. I don't know.
if we were gonna present something for conservation, it probably would make sense to do it toward the beginning. Cause everybody kinda,
Does anything we're
Disconnects.
proposing require conservation approval?
I don't think so.
No, I'm just
No.
wondering if there's good feedback, cause there's a lot,
Conservation
you
of
know,
wetlands.
as far as the, like, especially the green types of,
And stormwater
what you
infrastructure,
call it, yeah.
yeah.
There just maybe
So we.
Knowledge. on that
Yeah.
committee that could, I don't know.
So there's no determination of applicability, this is just get on the agenda, this is what we're
Right.
thinking about.
And
So
maybe we
if
don't
we
have to
were-
update, I don't know, I'm just thinking of the committees that we should maybe reach
Yeah.
out to.
I think if there were anything that we were planning on doing stormwater wise, that would be within a buffer zone. Then that would go to Concom, but. Nothing about the enterprise fund would have to go to Concom.
I mean, it's even worth, I think it's probably even worth just on these boards, checking in and putting it out there, like, does the board have anything that they wanna contribute? Or this also goes out to the public, do they have anything they wanna contribute? And that at least allows us to cast an initial net to just kind of get some first blush.
I can't just feel like it's just a great idea going on one of these three boards. Cause these are kind of like the people that run our town, right? And if you, like, I work at a company, basically the managers kind of want to know what you're doing and they, they want you to talk to the public. Yeah, they want to go through like official channels and stuff.
Right,
And they kind of consider themselves the official channel. or the authority in the town. So if I were on the board, I'd kind of like to know what the heck we're thinking before we distribute it to anybody, the broader public.
I don't think we should go to FinCom until we have numbers to actually really
Yeah,
propose
something
concrete.
decent, yeah.
And I would be, any one of these, I would support, I would be fine with. I just don't want to threaten this.
And the planning board, we'd be looking to get input on,
I'm sorry?
present, like, I'm just thinking, like, presenting to FinCom, we're looking to, you know, talk numbers and find.
Sure.
Get advice in that area. Going to Concom, maybe to get, you know, any ideas about other green,
Yeah,
which will.
Stormwater infrastructure.
Stormwater infrastructure.
Yeah.
I wanna say greenscapes now, cause I saw your slide.
I think one of the things that I'm most interested in looking at is development of our bylaws and determination of like, what is it that we can do to make sure that we can enforce what it is that we're trying to do. There's probably some others, because we do deal with a fair amount of like stormwater for development properties or developing properties. So I'm sure we've got some things we can talk about and try and get like, what is the planning board's idea of like, what can we do to help this from a bylaw side of this? I think is the planning board approach.
So for next annual town meeting, we may wanna have some articles around,
Sure.
and then the select board, the whole setting up an enterprise fund. Has been common.
Yeah, I agree.
I will probably talk about this briefly during my board update at the end of planning board Monday.
Okay, are you
yeah.
guys actually gonna have a meeting?
We'll see, we'll see. Seems if we can get a Zoom link and, I don't know, we'll
Would you
see.
report to the Concom
yeah,
and you're gonna report to the planning board?
Yep.
Who's gonna, and you're on the select board?
Yeah, but I haven't been giving detail, like, we're talking about a stormwater utility.
One this
I
time
haven't
around?
said anything yet, cause I didn't wanna scare the public yet with all the stuff that we have going on right
Yeah,
now.
but this is not the public, this is the committee.
Right, but then
Yeah.
it's all recorded and,
Well, this is
yeah.
recorded.
I think it would be good for Bill or Nick to present to select board,
Yeah, definitely.
a preview of what the general, like, town meeting presentation could be, like, to start, I don't think we can dump this all at once on the public, I think we have to, like,
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I think we start high level.
small bits, yeah,
And with the
So what-
boards and then maybe
When does the
do
select
a
board meet?
public meeting.
every Tuesday,
Every Tuesday?
except for the last Tuesday of the month.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Every time you schedule.
Except the last Tuesday of the month, we're supposed to have off.
So how do you get on the agenda? Just say I wanna,
Email Heather and Michael Ray.
oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You may not, I mean, I think you can hold off till
Probably
after the
town.
election
Yeah.
even, because we will have a new member
Yeah,
after the election, so
When is the election?
May 18th.
yeah, so maybe like the first one in June.
So we'll have one more meeting
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
before, and then can kind of,
All right, so we'll do another iteration on this. And we'll meet again and decide exactly what we want to present to them. And then we can get on their agenda after the election.
yeah, I just give committee updates at the end. Very high level.
Because we don't want to go too far down the road before someone pumps the brakes.
Yeah, Heather knows about,
Yeah,
yeah.
Would you want Nick to go to that select board meeting?
probably wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
I mean, I'm really kind of, cause he's rolled this out to other towns, right? So I'm
Yes.
really like,
Yes,
we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm
I-
hoping he
I
can
agree.
say, here's the roadmap.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He can speak more intelligently, fluently, with a lot more experience than we can.
yeah,
Nice to have that person on our team.
yeah. And do it on a rainy day. It really hits home. I'm sure TC Patio's roof is leaking again.
Oh, yeah. All right, unless anybody has anything else, or even if they do, I'll still accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All right, motion's been seconded, all in favor?
I,
Wonderful,
And then are we always the third Thursday of the month? Is that?
yes.
Okay. So the 16th next month.